And welcome to another episode of the House of Fandom. I am your host, Clark, on the check in, and I am joined by my amazing three co hosts, starting off with my man Danny. What's up, Danny?
What's going on, fellas? Good to join you guys for another amazing episode here at the House of Fandom. I'm ready to get this started, man.
Absolutely. We got a lot to talk about today. And the older of the two, we've got Spike on the check. What's up, man? How's it going this lovely evening?
Everything's going good, bro.
Good to
Ready to
see
get it
you.
in.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know. Good to
absolutely.
see you. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And
Yes, sir.
last but not least, can I say you know him by his name? He is the man, the myth, the legend. He's full to the brim with metal in his body. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only Tank is in the building. What's up, Tank?
What's going on, Clark? I guess I'm Logan today. Ready- Excited for another episode. Ready to get into it.
Absolutely, man. And hey, so let me ask you, man, what you got on the fandom news for today?
First, we're gonna start off with a couple of new trailers that were released. First, we're going to discuss and we'll show and then discuss the trailer for the Amazon Prime movie Tomorrow War.
Nice. All right. Well, everybody, Tomorrow War. Let's check it out.
Well, they say kids never come by unless they need something.
Dad, I need your help.
I'll get my coat.
30 years in the future, we are fighting a war. Our enemy is not human, and we are losing. We need you to fight.
I will be back. And I love you, Chickpea.
7 days from now, when you're sent into that war, you won't be fighting for your country. You'll be fighting for the world.
Is it all right?
Yeah, going to war.
Stop talking. Listen.
Sorry, when I'm nervous, I talk. I'm like a 97 on the nervous scale.
That should be fun.
Welcome to the future. You and your unit are now in 2051.
They're everywhere.
We are food, and they are hungry. Our enemy is smarter, faster, and stronger than you can possibly imagine. Do you want to see something really dangerous?
I feel like literally that's all I've been doing since I got here, but okay.
Within the next few weeks, the human species will disappear from the face of the earth.
Nothing we do here matters. No, that's where you're wrong. I don't believe that one bit.
Together, we can stop this war from ever happening.
This is my opportunity to give this world a second chance. Second chances are really hard to come by.
Light him up! I'm not gonna hide. I'm gonna fight.
It's not even loaded.
Yeah, it's not loaded. It's a pressurized cabin. Why would I load it in the cabin? The bullet goes in thing and everybody's sucked out.
And welcome back to the House of Fandom. Danny, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Wow, that was a heck of a trailer, boys. Let's get into this one here. All right, first topic of the evening. So, Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt, exclusively airing on Amazon Prime this summer here. This one looks like a very interesting, different type of movie than we're used to here. I'm getting some 90 vibes out of this one here. Let's go over the panelists, ask everybody their opinion on this here, and let's get right into it. Tank, starting with you, tell me, what was your first impression of seeing this trailer? Was this something you're going to see yourself watching down the road, or is this going to be a hard pass?
That's not gonna be fast. I mean, it's coming on Amazon, and I have Amazon Prime, so I'll watch it. If it was in the theaters, I will probably wait until it was not, because I mean, the premise of it, it sounds really interesting and crazy. Like, why don't a war in the future? You come in the past and get people. I was like, I'm good. I'm not even gonna be alive back then. I don't care about your future. But it's interesting premise. But like the trailer didn't like make me want to go to the theaters and watch it. But since on Amazon Prime, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Like, if it was a choice between going to theaters and watching this Amazon Prime, I would wait for it to go on Amazon Prime. So I'm with you like that there. All right, well, good stuff, man. Spike, going to you, man. I mean, you had some interesting thoughts about this when we were watching it a second ago. I mean, what was your impression of watching this trailer, Tomorrow War?
You know what? It's cheesy, but I will say this. I mean, I'm a dude's dude. It's got a lot of what you want to see in movies like this. There's guns, there's explosions, there's time travel. There's also, aliens and things like that you're going to have going back and forth in the whole save the world thing, which is great for me. I mean, I love to sit up and watch stuff like that on like Spike TV or whatever. Kind of the same with Tank. Even though I love going to the movies, if this was in theaters, I'd wait. To be honest with you, I'd wait. Only because, Chris Pratt is funny, but he's not like my ideal action hero. So it's not enough for me to go pay for it. But on Amazon, yeah, I'll kick back and watch that. Have a good time.
Okay. Fair enough. We know you're not a big fan of Star-Lord. I mean, I think you and I personally spoke about that one there.
Listen, I did make sure to call him Chris Pratt this time.
You did.
Forget that. But Chris Pratt, okay. I give him kudos because I liked him in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I feel like this is like a 90s vibe kind of movie. I mean, you kind of hit it on the head there. It's just like, it's going to be mindless fun. I mean, you're taking on aliens in a future war, and you're getting drafted to a war that doesn't exist on your timeline. So don't expect Shakespeare, as Clark would say, on something like this here, but definitely looks like it's going to be a fun ride. Speaking of the man that can, Clark, tell me, what's your impression of this one?
Hey, and let me just say, Spike, don't worry. At least you're not calling people Frank all the time. Yeah, so you know what? He's been guilty of calling people different names himself, and I've been guilty of it too. So I'm not gonna lie here. I gotta be honest with you. I was reserving any judgment because I did see a teaser that showed very little of the movie, probably about, I would say, a month ago, in May, and so I'll be honest. It looks like a fun movie. It looks like a movie you could check out. It's coming right before the 4th of July, and that's pretty cool. You got the whole fate of the world in the balance, and it's got the time travel element in it, and obviously Chris Pratt, say what you will about him, but I mean he's still an A-list star right now, and I think he'll carry the movie. It looks like it's got a pretty cool cast of characters, and so the aliens look pretty cool, and so I'm gonna I'll take it, and I'll run with it. Now, that being said, I'm not certain I would have watched it if it was straight in the theaters. I think I'd wait as well, because there's just something that just feels like we've been there, done that. You know what I mean? And so yeah.
Let me ask you real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt here. Do any of you guys know if this was PG-13? Like, what is this, the rating? Do we know?
I think it's PG-13.
Yeah, I think it is going to be PG-13.
The reason I asked, and all of us could actually kind of comment on that pretty quick, is would you be interested in the theater if you knew that some of these aliens was like ripping some guys to shreds? Like a little bit more gruesome. Not our gruesome, but enough to like kind of pique your interest where they really seem like they're afraid, but they got a battle. You're trying to save the world. Would that be enough to make you go to the theater?
Well, let me. I agree with Tank, and I'll tell you why. There's a movie called Starship Troopers, and I don't know if you ever saw it. It's actually a pretty cult classic. If you ever had a chance to watch it, Tank, have you watched it before? I'm sure you have.
I knew you were going to ask me. I knew you were going to go right to me.
Well, I just want to know if you watched it. That's all.
I'm shaking my head.
The reason I said that, I mean, it came out in '97. I'm curious. That's all. And the reason too is it's an R-rated movie.
I'm older than Danny.
It's true.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Good point. All right. So, have you seen it or not?
Yes, I've seen it.
All right. So you've seen it. All right. So we all know. We've got that movie, and listen, love it or hate it, a lot of people were, kind of like in between, right? And so they weren't really feeling it. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that if you have a compelling script and you have really good actors, and I'll give you an example, different genre, and then we'll move on. World War Z was originally tracking to be a big bomb. People were saying, "Oh, it's going to be bad, this and that." They reworked it and everything, and it made it a PG-13 movie. And to be honest with you, it was a huge success. And I think it demonstrated that you can still make a movie that's intense, right? And it doesn't need to necessarily be graphic. So that's just my 2 cents.
That's a good point. I mean, I think for me personally, like, I'll be honest with you, I don't get excited about these alien movies anymore. We've had so many over the years. I mean, I think Independence Day kind of probably did it the best, if I'm being honest. And it's funny because I believe that was Clark's pick a couple of weeks ago when we did our blockbuster retro that we did a couple of weeks back. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it's the same plot, aliens trying to take over the world and all that stuff. And, if you look at it from that end of it, it's like it doesn't excite you. But if, you just turn off your brain for this one here and just enjoy it for what it is, I think it's got a surprise chance of actually being a really fun movie. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
We'll see. What else we got, brother?
Well, that's up to Tank here. What do we got, man?
We're gonna keep.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why I just wanted to say hi.
Okay,
hi,
Tank.
We're gonna keep on we're on with the trailers. Next trailer is a teaser trailer, and that actually is a teaser.
All right.
For the season 3 of Titans.
All right. Titans season 3. Here we go.
This is a Gotham. The city breeds a special class of criminal. People die here. People like us.
This is a teaser. I told you that's what the teaser.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back.
All right, well, there we go. You've seen it here first, guys. Teaser trailer for season 3 of Titans. Now, I am a big fan of this show, and I would love to hear from everybody else here because I was so excited about this show coming out when it first was announced years ago, and I even subscribed to that terrible DC TV app that they had that's now debunked, and now everything's on HBO Max. So thank you for WB for doing something right because I never give you guys credit. But let's start with our panel here. So, Tank, starting with you. I mean, are you a fan of the Titans show itself as well, or is this something that you think you might pick up now that you've seen the trailer?
No, I'm a fan of the show. I've seen both the first 2 seasons. I subscribe to DC Universe.
That's what it was called. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, yeah. So I was very happy that they got picked up by HBO Max, so I can not get on my $6-7 anymore. But yeah, I'm excited for it. This little teaser, like, so a great teaser to mind. Look like they're gonna, show the Red Hood. The kid, he's a little bit too young to be Red Hood for me. But still, I'm still, interested to see how far they go. This show, I don't know if it's like MA rated it, but they get pretty dark. So
they do.
Interested to see how far they go into showing the Joker or Jason Todd's death.
Yeah, it's a good point. Does anybody know if we're gonna potentially see a sighting of the Joker? Because we haven't seen it yet in any of these episodes from the last 2 seasons. Are they gonna be bringing in more Batman villains? Is that kind of what's going on? Anybody can answer.
Hopefully, I know they had Deathstroke in the last season, and then they didn't show the Joker. And I haven't heard any castings for the Joker, but they showed like that one guy with the smile from the toxin. So
right, that was my first question. Is there, like, when I saw that part, it was just like instantly like, wait, are we gonna get the Joker on Titans?
Yeah, I don't know. If they do, they've been really good about hiding whoever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Spike, what about you? What were your thoughts when you saw this one? Have you been watching like Tank?
No, I played with it a little bit, but wasn't heavily involved. I have to say that with it moving over to HBO Max has piqued my interest. I like the trailer, so I'm looking forward to doing some binge watching, catching up, and seeing how this is going to play out now. I'm very particular about my DC characters. They're very dark typically, and on network television in different areas, they don't tend to let them be who they really are for me. So I'm eager to see where they're going to roll with it now that it's on HBO Max, how things are going to move about, and move from there. So that'll make me watch. I'm one of those people. That'll definitely make me watch.
No, that's a good point there. Clark, anything for you?
To be honest with you, I don't really know too much about it. So I guess my big thing is this related to the Teen Titans, or is is that what that is? Okay, so it's a live action, then I would imagine, and it originally premiered in the now defunct DC subscription, right?
Yeah, universe.
Gotcha. So I mean, let me ask you, Tank, because I think you're the foremost, authority when it comes to TV adaptations. Would you say that the production value is better than CW, or more like on par with CW?
Oh, 100% better than, it's 100% better than a CW. Like the actual, I don't know if you've seen it, Spike, but the Nightwing costume, like in the beginning, he started, first season he was Robin, then the second season they showed the Nightwing. Both costumes were they look like movie quality costumes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I did see that. It definitely will pique your interest.
Will it?
There. Like I said, you're going. It's something that I think is much better than like you would see on CW. Something
All
like
right.
that.
What about the effects, though? I mean, are we talking about like CW, where it's hit or miss, or?
No, I would strongly recommend doing it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut anybody off there. Clark, I would strongly recommend watching because this is, and to Spike, the same as well for you guys. I mean, this is definitely a lot more adult oriented, despite what the name is. That's why they dropped the teen part of the Teen Titans. It's just called Titans for a reason. It's dark. There's some F-bombs in there going towards my man Batman, but it is what it is. I get it.
That's good.
Robin's a disgruntled former employee. I get it. Yeah, but all the same, I mean, guys, definitely, I think I can speak for myself and for Tank here. Definitely something you guys should check out. It's definitely worth your time, for sure. All right, well, good. Yeah. So, Tank, what else do we have in the fandom bag today?
All right, so next, last week we had the reveal of the Michael Keaton's Batman logo suit from the Flashpoint movie. This week we have a first look at what the Flash's new suit's going to look like.
Awesome. Clark, do we have that on the screen for the viewers to watch?
Yeah, we actually do, man. And we're showing the logo, and like I said, it's interesting how this costume is looking as far as from what we can see. I am curious what you all think.
Yeah, good. Well, Tank, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, man, I like it. Like I said, it looks it looks a lot more comic book realistic than the one in Justice League. Yeah. It actually it looks a little bit cybernetic a little bit too. But I'm very interested to see how the whole suit's going to turn out to be.
Yeah, good. Spike, what about you? What did you think of the suit when you saw the teaser?
From what I see the teaser so far, it's got me a little geeked. I'm like Tank here. It looks a little more realistic, to say the least. But I like the grooves that you're seeing all around the symbol and emblem. It makes me immediately think that you're going to see lightning channeling through all these little avenues. It looks like a mini maze. The big lightning bolt in gold looks amazing to me, like a huge conductor. It does make me think speed. I'm eager to see the rest of it and how it's going to adapt. It's definitely got me like, hey, wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, Spike. I mean, I got vibes of when I saw kind of the concept art that Clark was showing us before the show. I got some Black Panther vibes as far as from the solo movie, how he channeled his energy. And I think that's such a cool concept. And I think with Flash being, kind of known for his lightning when he's running in his speed from the Speed Force, I like the idea. It can I feel like the emblem is actually going to be used as something that's a tool for him, almost like a conductor, if you will, of his power when he's getting, his speed up there. So that's a good call out there. Good.
Yeah.
All right, Clark, what about yourself, man?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are spot on. I mean, the way the concept art, which we're showing now, with Michael Keaton as Batman, I mean, clearly they're going for a very it's part of the person's body. You know what I mean? Very much in that whole Black Panther skin almost, an additional layer of skin, but it happens to be, a power source, for the person. I think definitely to Spike's point, with the way the lighting electric, the lightning going through the suit itself, like to really, put the power, and in conduct the power throughout. It makes it even practical, which I think is pretty cool too. So yeah, and I love the sleek design, and of course the comic accurate, depiction, because with the concept art that was released back in August of 2020 with the DC, universe, like Comic-Con type thing that was, out there last year, the virtual event. They released that, and really it does, give those vibes as far as like that whole like lightning, generating throughout the entire suit, so I'm excited about it. Listen, this whole, film is exciting because, there's going to be a lot of things that, obviously we've got the two Batmans returning, Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. We have the costume updates, which, I'm showing a comparison of the emblems of the costumes for Flash and for Batman. And, they just really look super cool, man. So definitely excited to keep, tracking this movie while it's in production. I cannot wait to see full reveals of everyone in costume.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Yeah, I'm excited about that one there too. Okay, well, we'll keep track on this here. I am curious, to, like Clark said, what everybody's going to look like in this new Flashpoint movie. Tank, what do we got next on Fandom News?
All right, so next on the Fandom News is thanks to our main event, its high numbers that it did. Due to Loki's high numbers, Disney announced that on Disney Plus, all their original TV shows are going to actually premiere on Wednesday instead of Fridays.
Awesome news. Yeah, that's a big one there. Yeah, I not to toot on the horn, but I think we had something to do with that, boys. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the people have spoken. House of Fandom. We got some pull out there in Disneyland. But yeah, all the same there. I mean, I personally think that's an awesome move there, because I don't know about you, but I don't know, something about a Friday drop just feels like it's long, even though it's not. But I mean, I think smack in the middle of the week is really good, because I don't know about you guys. Me personally, I can't stand when I'm busy and I don't have time to watch it, and by the time I get on social media, all my friends have spoiled the episode I haven't seen yet. So I like the idea of actually being able to do in the middle of the week for me, so that way I can get my errands done and I can still catch up with it by at least the end of the day. Because Wednesday it's hump day, right? We can get a little bit more done. Friday we're already checking out, we're ready to go after the weekend, but we're wrapping up all the stuff we have for the deadline of what we got to do on a regular basis when we're not doing our podcast here. So, Tank, for yourself here, I mean, record numbers, apparently, from what I understand, this is the highest premiered show so far on Disney Plus, and I think, again, you had a lot to do with it. Tank, tell me, do you like the idea if it's going to be on Wednesday, or do you prefer it still on Fridays like it used to be?
No, I prefer to, especially, for the show wise, I prefer it to be on Wednesdays, because we can talk about it, a lot sooner than, nearly a week after the show premieres. I'd like to say, especially now with, stuff opening, the world opening up more. Fridays are going to be, more like, going out after work instead of sitting at home watching a TV show. So it being in the middle of the week, definitely, I do like it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Plus, the kids are out of school at this point, so they want to get those views in as soon as possible. That's a good point there, Tank. I like it. Spike, yourself, I mean, how do you feel about this announcement here? Good move, or what do you think?
I love it, personally. I think it's an amazing move. I think they heard us last week when we liked the fact that it's out, like you said, Wednesday, and we can review it. But aside from that, I look at it like you just said. It's a midweek treat. It's perfect. Wednesday's hump day. You can count on Loki or a good show to be there on Wednesday to kind of get you through the next couple of days, because our weekends are packed. There's a lot of different things going on, and it's nice to have that waiting for you, every week, that that on Wednesday that's going to drop. You take it easy after a day of work, and you got something nice to look at, and that's enjoyable. And their original content has been pretty good. Loki's amazing as well. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I think it was a very smart move. Brilliant.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely use Loki as kind of a test to see how Wednesdays work, because that is the first show they did it. And the numbers don't lie. #1 show premiere ever on Disney Plus in its short span here. So, yeah, I think they hit it on the head there for sure. Clark, what about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what the panel states. I mean, it was a great move. I think it really does give the opportunity to have that water cooler moment. If y'all know, when most of us were working in the office and talking about the next day about, a show, it kind of gets lost in the weekend, you know what I mean, when you have it premiere on Friday. So it makes total sense to me. Obviously, the numbers don't lie. Number one ever premiere. And of course, as we talk about it later on, I mean, there's more reasons to why it's number one than just the change of the day. But yeah, good stuff. I'm excited for it, and I'm glad that they're doing it with the other shows as well, because it makes it easier for us to review a show in almost real time.
Yep. Absolutely. I can selfishly agree with you on that there. 6 days is way too long to wait to review something.
You got it.
But hey, it is what it is. We got a lucky break, boys. So good for us. All right. So Tank, is there anything else in fan news you want to cover?
Oh yes, I got a bunch of stuff here. So next on the list is F9 star and early 2000s R&B sensation Tyrese decided to say in an interview decided that he wanted to confirm that the Sony's movies Morbius is in the MCU, which then either Sony or Disney Marvel, or probably both, came out and said that was false.
Yeah, this is probably one of the strangest news stories that broke this week here, guys. I mean, yes, correct. Former R&B hit sensation / MTV Jams host back in the day, Mr. Tyrese, who has lost his marbles a lot of times during the years, and spoke out of turn on a lot of roles that he was supposedly gonna have, strikes again, and now at this point says he is in the Morbius movie, which is confirmed that part is true, but he overstepped and said it is going to be part of the MCU, and it clearly is not. Sony has their own plans for their own Spider-Man universe. I'm personally thrilled to hear this kind of mess come out of his mouth there, just because it just tells you that Sony has no idea what the heck they're doing. Someone probably told the poor guy that it was going to be MCU just to get him to sign for whatever. And, basically, hey, as long as Sony folds at some point and gives up on this crazy charade of making their own universe, Tyrese can say whatever the heck he wants to me, in my opinion there. So, Tank, starting with you, buddy. I mean, what did you think of this? I guess we can call it fake news. Can we say fake news? Yeah, I guess we can still say that, right? Yeah. Fake news. So, I mean, Tank, tell me what you think about that, man.
The second I was scrolling Instagram and saw this story, I was like, no, it's not. Be quiet, Tyrese. No one believes you. No one believes you. I didn't believe it for a second. I mean, yeah, they're gonna have the Vulture. Michael Keaton was in it at least he was in the trailer. You know how they do with trailers. You know how they do with trailers where there's stuff in there that's not really in the movie. So he is at least in the trailer. He might be in the movie. I know he's in it, but so that probably has people thinking because he's gonna be in the MCU. But
yeah,
that doesn't mean anything. They had J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man, so in the last Spider-Man. So
this is true.
But yeah, like I said, I knew the second I read it, I was like, no, Tyrese, no.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of rolled my eyes. I had the same reaction you had. I was like, stop it. That's not true, Tyrese. Who told you that? Stop lying. But yeah, Spike, what did you think about this news / fake news?
Dude, I mean, if it was true, Tyrese has a history of ruining things, like by opening his mouth in a lot of ways. I mean, like I said, I don't know if he ruined it before, but I remember he was supposed to be John Stewart, as Green Lantern, and then that didn't materialize. When Dr. Dre sold Beats to Apple, Tyrese was online saying something, and we all know Apple was really hush-hush. It wasn't released yet. He was bragging about it there. Like, the dude's always talking about something. So even if there was an inkling of a way that this could be moving that direction, he probably just ruined it by saying that. So he just got to learn to be quiet, bro. I don't buy it. I'm like, until I physically see the official trailers and things come out or words, I'm not listening to it, bro. I'm not. Although I do enjoy him being comic relief in the Fast Furious movies or whatever, and the Transformer movies as well. But still, no.
I just don't know. I don't know how that guy still gets work personally. I don't get it. I personally, he knows people. That's all clearly he's got
somebody owes him favors, bro.
He's got photos of some executive producer out there in that world, and it's just like, yep. Guys, great news. I'm going to be in the MCU. So I don't know. I don't know. All right, Clark, your thoughts. Take us home on this topic, please.
I mean, listen, everybody knows that Tyrese from the beginning, when he was a young R&B wannabe. Let's be honest.
He has some hits. He has some hits.
All right. I should have say when he was a mildly right. Thank you. A mildly successful. I was gonna say one hit wonder, Tank, but then I thought about the second song, so I said a mildly
Sweet
successful.
Lady still bad.
Yeah,
still bad.
But here's the thing. One, I'm gonna speak positively. You got to respect the man's game, because this guy has to be the luckiest guy in the world to land into the Fast and the Furious franchise, right? Lead the second one, Too Fast, Too Furious, and then just be able to like basically collect a check because Vin Diesel loves him. So this guy is getting paid probably, I don't know, somewhere between $8 and $10 million a movie, believe it or not.
No way.
For the Fast
no
movies.
Way.
Absolutely confirmed. Oh, no. Confirmed. Let me explain something to you.
He has photos.
Yes. No. It's been reported. But let me explain something to you.
We'll go back to that.
Let me finish. So, check this out. There is a video, you need to look at it, where he gifted Vin Diesel this like custom made like what do they call those, like those giant like mobile dressing room trailer, right?
Yeah, the trailer.
But dude, it was so tricked out. It was so amazing, and the tag on it was close to $1 million. It was like $780,000 for it. The dude is not gonna give Vin Diesel a $787,000 freaking giant bus if he ain't getting bucks. But also, it was confirmed that most of them make in the mid 5 million range, all of the principal ones. But being that he has been like a huge part of the Fast franchise, and let's be honest here, it's all about family, it's all about diversity, and you know what? He's doing his thing. I give him props for that. You know what I mean? I give him props. And I still loved him in Baby Boy. That's all I'm gonna say. Especially the part where what's his name? The actor.
Ving Rhames.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what Vin Rhames said, but when he did, it was so funny and so cool at the same time, because he basically let him know who's what and what's what. But I just love that scene. It's so freaking cool. It's like, dude, be a man, cut it out, because I'm gonna show you what a real man is. I just loved it. Anyway, all right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
For
no
indulging
problem. Well, thank you, Clark. Hey, no problem. We have now confirmed who he has photos of. Vin Diesel, everybody. Okay. So Tank, back to you, my friend. Can you please tell us, is there anything else in fan news you want to share with us and the audience?
Yes, sir. The next item in the fan news is most obscure, costume release I've ever seen. Is that there's a first look of Jane Foster's new armor in Thor 4 from a T-shirt.
Hey, news is news. We'll take what we can get here.
And we're all squeaking to see, this.
Yes.
She's on the left-hand side. Obviously, you can know. You know it's Thor is in the picture, and you also know that what is her name? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't even remember her name now. The amazing actress from Creed.
Natalie Portman.
No. On the picture.
Tessia.
Right.
Yep.
Right, but like Natalie Portman is on the left of the screen, where the T is in Thor, just in case it's like flipped on your side differently for the viewers. But for context, I'm putting a picture up of Natalie Portman. What do you guys think of this, man? I mean, this is interesting because she's masked in this photo. It looks like.
Yeah, so for those who are watching on their cell phones, if you would like to rotate it, there's nothing wrong with your screen. It is that small. Yes, this is listen, it's not an official photo. This is apparently a screenshot of merchandise that is going to be released in the market at some point. So all the same, this is technically our first look at Jane Foster's character becoming Thor herself. Not the best quality, but it is what it is. So we have it in front of us here. We have an idea what everybody's going to look like in 100% cotton. So let's let's take a look at this here. Tank, I mean, what's your first impressions of what you can make out from this image here?
From what I make out, I mean, from what I've seen, I wasn't a big reader of the comic books, but seeing pictures and panels of it, it looks pretty comic book accurate from the comic, because she does have that same helmet in the comic books.
Yeah,
I am interested to see how they get the hammer, because one, his hammer was broken by Hela, and then Steve Rogers took the other hammer that he stole back, supposedly back and put in the timeline. I know in the comic books, the way she got the hammer was Thor became unworthy, and so then Odin gave her the hammer. So I'm really interested to see how she now gets there. I don't know if they're gonna go back to, I can't remember his name, but the giant dwarf that made the hammer in the first place in Stormbreaker. I don't know if they're gonna have him. I don't know if they're gonna have him make it again, make another one, or it's gonna be some weird time travel multiverse type of thing. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna go.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, Marvel's definitely going into time travel, and we're gonna be covering a lot more of that when we get to Loki episode 2 in a second here. I'd say Spike, for you, I got a question, man. Just because this is something that's been kind of on my brain, because I'm watching this photo with a magnifying glass for the last couple of days. Just wondering myself, like, Natalie Portman is such a petite person, and Marvel is so known for their body transformations here. And this version of Jane Foster, the character she plays, is a lot more how do I say? I mean, she's muscular. She's stronger, right? She's worthy. Let's leave it at that. She's worthy, right? I mean, Natalie Portman was probably my least favorite part of the Thor movies. Hence why she didn't see eye to eye with MCU, with Marvel, or the directors that they had in place for these movies. And now she's back for round 4, which is probably because round 3 was so awesome and everybody loves that movie. So I think it was probably because she wasn't in it. That being said, I'll try to be unbiased about this here. I mean, do you think that when we get a chance to see Natalie Portman in this new version of Thor, do you think she's gonna be worthy of the part itself? No pun intended. Pun very intended.
Absolutely not.
Really?
I do. Well, she's gorgeous. She's a good actress. I hated her in the Thor movies. I really did. Okay. I think the cool thing about the helmet is that you're going to find somebody that's more physically intimidating, or has a more physical presence for this role. So she'll definitely have a stunt double. She's not bulking up. She's tiny, and she looks even smaller next to Thor. So I think that they'll definitely have somebody else do this to kind of like do that whole transition, so that it looks a little bit more believable. Because I just don't see her in this role. I don't. I see her as the damsel, or what we saw kind of like in the first movies and things like that. She was a tad bit annoying. I didn't really like her, but in this role, I don't see that there, man. Not what we're used to seeing with Marvel. I mean, you're talking about running amongst gods. And Mjolnir? Come on, man. Not Natalie. She just, worthy or not, you can't make me believe she can lift that hammer, bro. I just not buy it. So
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you, man. I hear you, and I agree with you on a lot of it too. Just because this is going to be the hardest transformation Marvel's ever pulled off. So we don't know if it's going to be a stunt double like Spike has stated here. We don't know if CGI is going to do amazing things. Who knows what's happening? Maybe she started having some protein bars and started having her pre-workouts. I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Let me say this real quick, okay? And I get that, but even if she doesn't bulk up, she has to be believable in the role of fighting, especially next to, we could take Thor out the equation, but next to Tessa Thompson or the Valkyrie, you need to be believable in these roles. And I just don't see that. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I like to be proven wrong about stuff like that, but she doesn't appear to be believable in fight scenes and things like that. And I think that transition is be more difficult than anything. So like you said, either CGI or stunt double would have to be believable for that, in order for it to flow well. That's just me.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, you bring up a good point, and that's a very possible thing here. I think, honestly, I'm going to go on a limb here. I think she's going to knock it out the park. And I'm going to say here, just because the fact that there's a mystery that Natalie Portman's never been an action star ever. I can't think of any role what she has. Wow. So this might be one of those pleasant surprises here, because, I mean, everybody likes the Thor movies. Tessa Thompson is amazing. So that is tough competition.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Tessa was awesome in Thor 3. She owned it. I mean, she pretty much was like, was Chris Hemsworth and it was Tessa Thompson. Like I didn't see I didn't see anyone better than the other. I thought they were both equal. She's got a tough task because this is a big, role here. In a way, this is pretty much all about her. So, I think you're probably right. I think we're going to be wrong about this one here, and I think we're going to be surprised. We're going to be talking about this, kind of laughing about this conversation later. All right.
Can't wait to review
it. Clark, my man, your thoughts. Natalie Portman, Jane Foster, door 4, please.
Okay, so let's unpeel this onion here because I hear a lot of yapping from my co-host about she don't know how to act, she don't work out, she doesn't. Hold on. In the role that she was in, she wasn't believable. That tells me that you're saying that she's not acting well enough to be believable. So unless I'm mincing words here, this is what you did say, Spike. You did say that she was not believable and annoying in the previous films. Am I wrong in saying that?
I did say she's annoying. She was believable as Jane Foster in that role. I said I don't believe she can pull off this particular role with the fighting and things like that. She's an amazing actress. I love her as an actress. I just didn't like her in the movie. She was annoying in the movies previously, and this part is where she has to convince me, or I'm hoping that she proves me wrong. I don't believe she can pull that part off.
All right.
Okay, this new role. So carry on.
So I will, absolutely. So let me just let me educate all of you good gentlemen about the actress who has won an Academy Award called Natalie Portman. There was a little movie called The Professional. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah. But yeah, pretty tough film, especially for a kid actor, right? Also, do you forget that she was in a comic book adaptation? Remember that one? Let's see if anybody can remember it.
It's very vague. Please explain yourself, Clark.
What?
I didn't see it. We're talking about V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
I didn't see it, but
okay. V for Vendetta. Excuse me. And may I just say one more thing, and then you can retort all you want, gentlemen. Let's talk about a little actress who also was given that work about being petite, being almost too skinny, too short, too anorexic looking, all that stuff. Yeah, that person turned out to be a little actress called Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. So we all know how that ended up. If you look at all the trades when she was announced, they gave it work. They said, oh, this is terrible, horrible casting. She won't be able to do the physicality of the role of Wonder Woman because of her height, because of her aesthetics and everything else, that she wasn't built that way. Now, one more point I want to make out, okay? Actors and actresses immerse themselves in the role. It's clear you gentlemen did not do your homework, because if you were to check out the set pictures, she is looking mighty fit in the set pictures that were leaked, okay? So she's
fit for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for her. But let me just say one more thing, and then I will get off of my soapbox, okay?
One more thing.
Let's just talk about a few different things here, okay? Let's start off with the first Thor movie. Take it or leave it, right? The second one, Dark World, I could definitely take it or leave it. The reason her role was because she had horrible directors that didn't understand the depth of the character and what the character was to become. Now, you get the third one, Ragnarok, is directed by the amazing, and I can't remember his name, but he's from like not Australia, but right, he is freaking amazing. If he is directing this film, right, which we know he is, and he has Natalie Portman there, this is going to be sensational. Director makes the actor makes the director. They come hand in hand. She's going to knock it out of the park. You guys are going to eat crow if you don't believe it. Thank you.
One more thing?
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing.
Acting.
Haters.
You know,
it's my opinion.
Just
my opinion.
And line, story, plot. Most of her career, amazing. The girl was amazing in The Professional as a child. I loved her in the Star Wars movies. Absolutely. Like I said, but physically, and I will admit this, and this is going to come off wrong, I'm hard on certain actors and actresses when it comes to these movies because I enjoy fantasy.
Okay,
I
fair
need
enough.
to believe it. You know what I'm saying? I need to believe it. And I will admit, I'm hard on her. I get it. I know she had bad experiences in the previous movies, things like that. I give her that.
I
and
mean,
like
the
I said,
role. Let's be honest.
career.
Let me ask you, and I apologize for interrupting you because I just
Go
want to
ahead.
make sure this thought comes out. But you have to be, let's be like really straight up here. The role was poorly written. I don't care what actress you put in it. It's still a turd. The way it was written, the whininess and everything is not her. It's her acting out the whininess that was written in the script, and that's a problem. You know what I mean? And I think generationally speaking, when the first Thor came out, and now I think that women are being, written differently. You know what I mean? I think that, and I think that's gonna reflect in this film, in my opinion.
That's a good point, and you're right. We saw that in the first Wonder Woman. Like, to your point, not just with the acting, but it was very empowering for women in that role. They didn't soften it. Prior to that, a lot of people I've talked to, Tank knows this too, when it came to female action stars, for me, like especially comic book adaptation, Jennifer Garner was the only one I felt like could pull it off in most cases. And so we're starting to see that more and more. And like I said, I would love nothing more than to see Natalie Portman get out here and kill it. I just don't believe it. So I want her to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I hear you.
And I think that's what Spike was really going with there. It's not that he's necessarily disagreeing or agreeing with your point there, Clark. It's just a matter of, so far there isn't a track record of success in these kinds of roles for her because she hasn't had one yet.
Well, I beg to differ. I think if you were to watch V from Vendetta, you would see.
I have. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So that's why.
Okay, so did we watch the same movie? Did you watch The Professional?
No, we haven't watched the same movie like Coming to America 2 and all sorts of movies, but that's okay.
All right, well, listen, we can agree to disagree, but I think Spike's a big boy. He can answer me himself. He doesn't need you to be his press agent.
No one's being a press agent here. I'm just simply saying I want to move on to the next topic here.
Hey, listen, you're the moderator. There you go. Threw it away.
Thank you, Clark. We will parking lot that for another episode at some point there. Tank, just so we can get this back on track, sir. I am so sorry to leave you hanging. I know you've been waiting for this next topic. Please take the next one, sir.
All right, next topic on the fandom is DC tells the HBO Max for the Harley Quinn show that they cannot have Batman and Catwoman have do the adult stuff on the next season.
Okay. So we going from one controversial topic to another one here. So you probably should space this out thinking about this now, but it is what it is. We're gonna get into this here. All right. So yeah, I kind of wish you were the moderator for this one, Clark. But hey, I mean, I'll tackle this one here. How do I start us off with this conversation here? So, okay, I'm gonna do my best here. Here it goes. So, Tank, you and I both watched the show. I know that you and I have talked about Harley Quinn. Great show. It's very risque. It's very edgy. They do push the envelope. There are some kind of topics on there that it's not for kids. Just so everybody knows, if there's any parents here who are watching this right now and they have their kids nearby, this is not the cartoon for them. So please do not mistaken it for something else. So in the context of the show that Harley Quinn is, it seems like it would be something that would be on the Harley Quinn show. And the explanation is very interesting. They said heroes don't do that kind of thing. I believe that was the quote that we heard from WB's response to the creator's request to air that. Tank, what are your thoughts on this one here?
I don't understand DC with this one. Like I said, the show it's an adult raunchy show. Like they didn't. I don't know how far they were planning to go with this scene, but they've shown Harley and spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, but they've shown Harley and Poison Ivy waking up having slept together.
Facts. Yep.
So like I said, I guess it just depends on how far the creators of Harley Quinn were trying to go with this scene. But the whole, so if they were like trying to fully show it, then yeah, that might be a little bit, more than people will want to see, or trying to see. I understand, but like if it was just a thing where they just they started it and then it woke up, I don't understand DC is diverging to that. The whole heroes don't do that line is stupid, considering Superman has a son, Batman has a son. Like so in the comic books, Talia pretty much assaulted and drugged Batman to have him. So you can have that in the comic books, but you can't have this in a show.
Yeah, well, Batman's no stranger to controversy too. I mean, if I remember correctly, recently there was a comic book uproar where Batman was full frontal, if I'm not mistaken. That was a big story a couple years ago as well too.
Yeah,
and also, if I'm not mistaken too, there was an animated movie. I think it was the Killer Joke.
Killing Joke. Yeah, people were up in arms about that though. It was with him and Batgirl. They were they were up in arms about that.
So I mean, hey guys, just so we're clear, this is a billionaire, right? He's a single man, and it is what it is. That's my take on it. It is what it is here. I mean, hey, if you don't think heroes don't do that, that's your opinion. So, Spike, we're gonna move this one along here. I don't want to spend too much time on this subject here because, yeah, we can probably talk about this more, but I don't think we'll have a show after this one. So let's keep it moving here. So, Spike, just your quick thoughts on this one here. I mean, do you think it's overreaction, or do you think, as a parent, you would want to avoid this situation even popping up accidentally when you go to sleep and check up on your kid? I mean, what's going on?
Well, real talk, honestly, I think it's just about money. I mean, we talk about DC and heroes in general. Batman's a cash cow for Warner Brothers, DC, everything. All it takes is one family to see this the wrong way, and it tanks. Goes into other comics. We all know are going to be a lot more in depth and detailed because most people don't read comics. But when you're talking about animated or live action, it reaches a wider audience. I get it. Do heroes do this? Absolutely. He's got.
We don't know. We can't confirm or deny. That's what we're saying. That's our official statement of the House of Anna. We cannot confirm or deny that.
Okay. Well, we'll leave that there. Yeah, I'll put that there. But I will say, I think it's just more so about money and where they feel like people will view the hero or Batman if this to get out or be aired that particular way. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's a tongue-in-cheek show. I mean, it doesn't take itself too serious, and I don't think we need to do that too. Let's start with the cancel culture of our stuff here, guys. Okay, Clark, yourself, sir. How do you feel about this one?
I've never seen the content, so I can't really make a judgment without seeing it. But I will say that my only concern is if you are marketing it in such a way that kids are going to want to see it, then we have a problem. And I think sometimes with these, the way they present these, it's a problem with the marketing. And I think also too, you have to realize that, we're not talking about secondary characters here. We're talking about like the creme de la creme, as Spike mentioned, on top of Mount Everest of their characters, their legacy characters. So I have a problem with it in that I think what it could do is it could taint the brand, you know what I mean? Because you think about it, the audience is very small. And what I mean by that, when you think about how big Batman is, and how big, Superman is and all these other legacy, characters. And even when you bring in Harley Quinn and all those things, I think you run the risk of alienating your core base just so that you could, reach to some folks that would want to watch that kind of like more adult-oriented versions of the superheroes. So that's where I think you may be playing a little bit with fire there. And I think that's what they did. They did the right thing. They said, look, we've got to draw a line in the sand somewhere, right? And frankly, if it's me and I have $1 billion cash cow, I am going to protect it at all means, and I would not put it out in that way. I would do, if I'm going to do it artistically from another character, fine, but what's the point? How does it advance the story for us to really know that? You know what I mean? It just doesn't do it. And if we're talking about love and making babies and all this stuff, we're not talking about what they cut out. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
So anyway,
no, it's a good point. I mean, I think the fact that it's just to wrap this one up here. I think it's just the fact that it's Batman and it's not another character here. I think Clark hit it on the head. That is the cash cow. I mean, that is the one franchise in WB's arsenal that can always count on to garner a lot of interest.
Honestly, the number one even above Superman because it has been consistently knocking it out of the park. So, you just can't mess with that kind of thing, man. That's your gold right there. So
it's too risky for them. And keep in mind, like Harley Quinn in the show, it's a lot more in line with if it was Deadpool. That's what Harley Quinn is to DC.
Right, absolutely. No, I have a problem with that. I have a problem when you bring in the legacy characters and you have them interacting.
I think that is what it comes down to. I think it's the fact that it's Batman and it's not somebody else. And obviously Superman will be off the table too.
Right.
Listen,
absolutely.
I mean, that's completely out of character. But, keep in mind, this opens up to a bigger kind of conversation. Not so much about the show and what the topic they wanted to cover, but it just shows you how protective and how much they value Batman. Because keep in mind, out of all the characters that are on their own television shows elsewhere, like, for example, the CW, Superman has his own show right now, which, by the way, guys, great show. I mean, I've been watching a lot of episodes. I don't think it gets enough press for how good it is. I am not the biggest Superman fan, but I'm really enjoying this television show. So that's one thing here.
Same.
But we've never received a Batman television show. In fact, appearances of Batman have to be run up by WB executives in the movie division simply because they are that protective of him. We have Batwoman right now, which is atrocious. I watched an episode after we just announced that Batwing thing. I'm sorry, Tank, I'm never watching that again. I lost 60 minutes of my life. I'm never going to get back. But, Titans, for example, we just talked about a little earlier today. I mean, I was excited for that show because, number one, I do like the children's version. I watch it with my son, Teen Titans. That is a funny show. I can get it. It's got a lot of Ren and Stimpy kind of old vibes to it there. So I love watching that with my son. But I do have an adult version for me for when I want to be serious here. And that Titans one kind of fills that for me. Plus, I'm a big Robin fan as well, too. I like Batman, but I love Robin as well, too. I think Robin needs to get a little bit more play in the movies as well. But more specifically, Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson as Nightwing. Nightwing is such a cool character if you just give him a chance to show it. And the only place I can get that right now is on Titans, which is why I'm super excited about season 3 coming up right now. But yeah, just to kind of wrap this up with a bow here, I don't think the topic was the overall problem. I think it's who they wanted to do it with. And I think that's where they were like, no, sorry. We don't care about anybody else. You can do what you want to do with Poison Ivy. Tank knows what I'm talking about there. But yeah, Batman, Lego, my ego. That is what W said in writing there. Okay, so moving on from that, guys. All right, let's. I think we handled that pretty well, all things considered. Tank, what is left for us on fandom news, sir?
All right, so next we got some John Wick 4 news. First, Wesley Snipes was reported to be in John Wick 4, but then it quickly came out that that was it was false. It's false that he was that he actually. I think he turned it down. There was kind of disagreement there. But then on the good side, I'm going to probably butcher the name. Hiroyuki Sanada,
very good,
aka Scorpion. He has been officially cast in John Wick 4.
Yes, aka the best part of that Mortal Kombat trash movie. Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, we as a panel kind of heard about this news with the potential Wesley Snipes casting last night, and we had some thoughts about it there. And then we were quickly, oh, never mind, that was it's not going to happen. But then we got the news that Scorpion is going to be in this movie as well, too. So that kind of helps out a little bit. I mean, let's talk about the Wesley Snipes part of the story first, because that is a big one there. I mean, I know everybody, I can probably say that everybody loves the John Wick movies. Can we all agree on that there? All of us? Yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I wish John Wick had was I wish he had an equal at this point. He's just so damn good that even some of the cool people that they've thrown on him, they have Common was in the second movie. Ruby Rose, aka Batwoman, she was in that one there. The third one was pretty decent too, but I just feel like he's never had somebody like that can truly just like, okay, maybe he can just lose. You know, if it's 5 or 6 people, okay, they got a shot, but one-on-one, no one's been able to touch the guy. I thought Wesley Snipes would have been inspired casting if that was the case, but who was the one who said that there was a reason for? I think Clark. I think it might have been you. So let's go to you here. I think you were saying the one that said that there was some negotiation problems with his fee that he wanted for his movie, and I want to get into that.
Yeah, so this was actually reported by the person that debunked the whole Wesley Snipes being in talks to join the cast of John Wick 4. So I believe it was the Hollywood Reporter. If I'm wrong, it was Variety magazine, both entertainment and well respected. Basically, what wasn't said in the Twitter about it was that one, they said that there were negotiations that stalled. Now, I can tell you that my sources in Hollywood have indicated that he wanted more money, which I understand. I mean, listen, get yours, right? Get as much as you can. But I think it came down to a few $1 million, and I think what he was asking, or his team was asking, was $5 million, and what they were willing to go with was $3.5 million, which was actually the same salary that was reportedly given, or negotiated and given with Halle Berry's supporting role. As you know, Halle Berry had a very small but very memorable role in John Wick 3. And so she was paid very nicely, $3.5 million for probably what ended up being, I think, under like 8 to 10 minutes worth of screen time. So, again, I think that Halle Berry was worth every penny. She's an Academy Award winning actress, so she brings very much, a sense of class and respectability. She's an amazing actress, as well as she has been very bankable in films that she has done. Whether they are lower budgeted films, she's been able to make them successful. And that role actually brought her into another role that's coming out. And I'm going to tell you this first. Remember, Clark said this first. There's a role, a directing role. She directed a film about a boxer or an MMA fighter. And let me tell you something. There is Oscar buzz for this. I heard that her directing is amazing. Once I find out the name of it, I'll definitely bring it up. But Wesley Snipes, getting back to him, he wanted more money, and they basically nixed it. I don't think he was worth the amount of money that he was going to have, from what I heard. And this should kind of put this story to bed, was that the role was very small and happened in the final act of the film, which set it up for a potential bigger role in a sequel.
Okay, good. So, with this situation, this is unique because, Wesley Snipes has, done amazing movies back in the day. Obviously, it's just one of those things where, he's done movies like Blade and things like that. So he is known to be an action star, and, that's kind of been his bread and butter over his career. But, I think he overplayed his hand here. I think he thought he was still more relevant than what he is today, so I think it was a miscalculation on his part. I think what he should have done was took the role, took the money, elevated his standing in Hollywood, and used that as a springboard for something else down the road. Because outside of movies like Coming to America, he had a role in that. Was it Dolomite? I think it was another movie I seen him in.
So both supporting roles.
Both supporting roles, and nothing that necessarily, I think he would have got the money for.
It was Eddie Murphy's role. Yeah, Eddie Murphy's movies. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest there. So, yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's just one of those things where, like, I think you put your hand in the cookie jar and they got slapped because you wanted too many cookies. But that's just my opinion about that one there. Let's go off to Spank. I was gonna call you Spank. I combined the boys. I went from Frank to Spank. Now that's to
Spank.
That's gonna be a new thing now. Okay, Spike. I'm sorry. I think I was looking at Spike and I saw Tank there, and I was Spank. There you go. Spike, sir, if you will. What are your thoughts on this story here?
I think he got hosed, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. All right. Let's. We all know Wesley's had his issues with Hollywood in the past. Okay. The dude's a versatile actor, man. We talking about from Tu Wong Fu to Blade. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is years ago. Okay.
I get it.
Yeah. This is years ago. Okay. We know that he's not the star or has the star power he once had, but I do believe that Wesley would have been worth $5 million because of his action skills. He is a martial artist. Keanu's done an amazing job over the years since starting with The Matrix to roll together and like be believable in these roles in these fight movies. The John Wick movies are great. I think that Wesley is a draw, definitely for older gentlemen like myself, but also for some of the new, because he can still pull off a lot of those things, even if the role is small. I think that the fact that he's burned some bridges in Hollywood is why he wasn't able to get over that hump to go ahead and get that extra $1.5 million. And I think he kind of took it maybe as an insult to take that $3.5 million. Do I believe he would be impactful? Absolutely. I think it would have made the movie much better. I think it would definitely lead into something bigger. But I feel like they still could have gave it to him. We're talking about $1.5 million with a John Wick budget. That's huge. This is clearly much deeper than what we're looking at, in my opinion. I feel like it would have been much better. I do. I think he could have carried it, no problem.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear you, man. I mean, it can go either way on the debate. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, $1 million, $1.5 million, whatever the difference was there. I mean, listen, they're in the business of making money, and if they don't think it's worth their investment there, then they'll find somebody to do it cheaper.
Right.
Line,
or maybe it wasn't about money. Maybe it was about the trouble or how they approach in negotiations were, or even, the fact
we
that
don't know what his demands were.
He's notoriously had very bad set experiences in the past.
That's why I said it's deeper. That's why I said I think it's deeper.
Well, there's another thing, too, that I won't say on air that has to do with, a theory I have that I'll talk to you guys off air, but I won't say it on air. But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if that ever comes to be the real reasons why.
Yeah, absolutely. Tank, I think you probably agree with us here. I mean, hey, it is what it is when it comes to Wesley Snipes in this situation. We did get Scorpion, though, as a replacement, and I'm pretty sure the company who's producing the John Wick movies probably are not going to give him what they were going to give Wesley Snipes. So I think they won at the end of the day. He's a great actor. Listen, tie this with a bow here. My mom always used to say, hey, listen, 0 minus 0 is still 0, pal. So at the end of the day, you played yourself. It is what it is. All right, guys. So that is going to conclude what we have left for Fandom News. So we are now tuned in and ready to go into our main event. Episode 2, Loki, first season, second episode of the season. We reviewed the last episode last week. Because of our reach in the Hollywood industries here, massive numbers done thanks to us and our amazing panel here and our people in the chat keeping it live and friendly out there. So this episode here was a lot different from the tone we got from the first one here. So we're going to keep it the same format that we did before. We're going to get the panel's impression of the entire episode, and then we're going to open it up to questions. And this would be a great opportunity for anybody in the audience listening live at home. If you have questions, this is a great time to bring it to us here. Clark is on the check-in as always, so he will be in tune. If there's any questions out there that you guys would like answered from the panel, please feel free. Go ahead and put it in there now, and we'll get to it as soon as we wrap up everybody's first impression. So starting with our man, Tank, apparently who has medal to say. I still can't get over that there. Okay, Tank, what was your first impression of episode 2 of Loki?
I mean, overall the episode, I love the episode. It started off a little bit slower than the first one. Something about Loki just sitting at a desk just seems weird to me. So that kind of caught me off guard. And but yeah, Loki, he really has seems like has jumped into this role as like a variant and trying to help them seemingly jump into it really, really quick. But yeah, overall, it was a good episode. Timekeepers, they seem a little dodgy, and everything. So yeah, so definitely interested to see what comes of them.
All right, well, good. Yeah, I mean, it definitely was definitely a little bit different seeing Loki in a shirt and tie at a cubicle. I think we can all relate to that at some point in our lives, right, guys? So Spike, for yourself, I mean, what was your impression of episode 2 of Loki?
It was good. I enjoyed the episode, but like you said, it started out really slow. It was weird seeing him at a desk and in different places, and I had to pause, believe it or not, early on and kind of get out of my head because I'm ready for Loki to start, being Loki in a sense. And so I'm like, okay, be patient, Spike, chill out. Let's see how this unravels and moves along. One thing I will say about it, the dialogue in the back and forth is great. There's a lot of chemistry between Loki and Owen Wilson. It keeps me involved. It keeps you engaged. It doesn't feel like mindless chatter. with things going on. And the characters, each one of the ones that they've been introducing have been enough to really keep the show going in a sense where you're just, even though you're not getting the full mischievous Loki, you're still getting little hints of him here and there so far. But it was really good. I enjoyed the episode a lot. And it definitely picked up probably 10, 15 minutes into it and just started snowballing. Everything really started moving. So I love the direction. I do. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good point there. I mean, there was a lot more of the relationship being built between. I'm learning his name, Morbius. I think his name is Mobius. Mobius, I think. Yep. Not Morbius like Jared Leto's terrible movie that's definitely going to suck. But right. Mobius. Tyrese, I'm sorry you picked the wrong role. But yeah, I mean, I think Mobius and Loki are really in this like really cool standoff, if you will, like who's more clever than who. Where like, Loki's mischief is well documented, and this guy has studied his whole life, literally his whole life. I mean, he has files on the man, right? In this amazingly huge complex, which, by the way, was filmed in an Atlanta hotel. I've been there before. It is absolutely stunning. I recommend, if anybody is in town, go check out that hotel in Atlanta. It's gorgeous. Yeah, it seems like it's so. I enjoy the banter a lot. Like it's taking me away from the story itself, even though the story is moving and progressing, kind of like you mentioned, it's kind of snowballing towards the end. And it's the fact that like we don't still know if Loki was really truly sold after that episode when he had that emotional reaction to kind of seeing his life play out, and that therapy session he had with Owen Wilson. So I'm just curious about that there. I'll go into more of my thoughts in a second. I don't want to take too much time here. Clark, with yourself, sir, what was your impression of episode 2?
Well, I thought, I agree. It started off a little slow at first, but, here's the thing, and I think maybe I have the luxury of not really, like, completely loving the character of Loki. Because, I'm a DC guy, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to, come on here and be like, oh, yeah, Loki. But I am going to say that I really appreciate the fact how they're deconstructing him as a character and they're rebuilding him as a character. And what's interesting to me, more interesting than even all his mischief and everything else, is that within that the entire, facade is a soul that is conflicted, and I think that they're going to explore that more throughout this entire season. But I just find it extremely interesting, and I find it very much more of a character study set in a Marvel universe, you know what I mean? Because it really is like exploring so many emotions that we've never seen him have. Like he was painted in the early years of the Marvel Phase 1 as just a straight up villain, intergalactic, maybe a little bit of the hints of, daddy issues and, mommy issues or whatever, but never truly explored to the extent. And even when he, spoiler alert, everyone, whoever hasn't watched Endgame, or excuse me, not Endgame, but Infinity War. Even when he was, killed, I still think that what we saw was the humanity and the love from Thor, as opposed to his side. You know what I mean? And I think we're seeing that in those glimpses that we see in the conversations and the looking back and everything else. I'm very interested in this show. I thought the second episode was very well done, and I was impressed. I can't expect it to be completely bam, bam every, episode. But I do agree that after the expedition in the beginning, that it went right to, getting right into the meat and potatoes of the story.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Clark. Excellent point. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to this character, it's a unique situation because, not for nothing, Loki has probably been the most explored villain in the MCU, because he was one of the first ones in the first phase. And, despite having so much time to get to know Loki, I feel like we're really just getting to know him now. more than anything else. I feel like with him, there's so many layers. There's so much going on in that big head of his, where part of him is doing it for a show because he wants the facade of that to be him. The other part is where he likes to cause chaos and on his own end too. But then there's this weird medium where he's conflicted with when is enough is enough. When should I do something for somebody else? Which I think is pretty fascinating how they're kind of peeling this onion, like Clark would probably say here. At the end of the day, I am really excited where the show is going to go, and I'm being patient with a lot of the talking because we know Loki, but we don't know any of these other characters. But I love the fact that these characters are matching Loki's energy on the show here. A lot of times with these shows or movies, you have such a popular character that they overshadow the entire cast around them, and the film or the movie suffers for that there. Owen Wilson has done an amazing job in just 2 episodes. Owen Wilson is Wedding Crashers. He is all those funny comedies here. He's playing the straight man to Loki's mischievous side here. And the fact that he is going toe-to-toe with a god of mischief and he's calling him out on his own crap, I am really enjoying that there because it took Thor 3 movies to finally figure out that Loki was full of crap. Owen Wilson called him on his crap within the first episode, and then he took him to the scene of a varying crime, right, in 1985, right, this Renaissance fair, and Loki plotted this whole idea of what's going on in this scenario there. And honestly, I thought he was telling the truth. I thought I was like, oh man, he's on board with this here. And instantly, Owen Wilson looks at him and is like, you almost had me, but my ears are just as sharp as yours. I was like, so he really isn't out there? Crap, because I believed somebody was really out there. Right? And the fact that, he called him out on it there. And again, we don't know if it was really true or not. We'll find. I'm sure they'll come back to something like that. They're like, hey, I was really actually telling you the truth that they probably were outside. But he looked so confused that his tricks did not work on Owen Wilson. I find that so fascinating right now. I find it where Loki doesn't know how to tackle this guy. He's dealt with gods. He's dealt with Thanos. He's dealt with, Odin and Thor. But Mobius, a guy who likes jet skis, apparently, that was has got Loki's number. And I think that's such a great, role reversal for the character here, kind of going through this whole cycle. I don't know how to get around this guy because he seems to have me figured out every step I take, even though he claims he's 10 steps ahead of everybody else. He calls Loki out on his crap a lot. And I honestly, the ending was fantastic, but I really appreciated that first half when it was just a lot of talking because, I was seeing sides of Loki I haven't seen. He looked like he didn't know what his next step was, even though he said he did. I'll call bull on that. I think he doesn't know how to handle this here. And I think that is probably the reason why, part of why he did what he did at the end of this episode. So we're going to get into start peeling this up a little bit more here. So starting with the questions here, Tank, let's go with you here first. Let's go right to the scene where Loki and the TVA were picking up the pieces of that fight that happened, which, by the way, was also playing that song Hero that we heard from He-Man Masters of the Universe. So so this is going to be very confusing if you're not paying attention when it comes to this time stuff that they're doing. So just to keep everybody on track here, there's potential variants of timelines out there, but apparently the TVA protects the main one there. What do they call it? The spiritual one, the spiritual line or something they called it? You guys remember?
Spiritual road lead, something like that.
Well, there's a main timeline, right? That they're constantly protecting here, right? And I want to get back to what we were talking about last episode. We had predictions on who Loki was going to be facing, and Clark mentioned that he thinks it's going to be, possibly something else. I said it was going to potentially be Loki because that's what they told us in the end of the episode there. And Tank also said that we might have something like a Lady Loki as well. So all good answers. Bigger parts of that is starting to be unraveled here too. Let's get right to that ending there. So, we got a reveal of who was underneath that hood at the end of the episode, and they didn't mention their name, but they said they don't like to be called Loki. So I think Tank and Clark were onto something here. Tank, who do you think was the person that actually was the person Loki saw at the end of that episode?
Based on how her powers were working, like how she was like touching people and like putting her essence in them to like and controlling them. There's and also how she when Loki called her Loki, her reaction to that. I think it's either an amalgamation, a combination of Lady Loki and the Marvel comic character Enchantress. It's either Enchantress or in a combination of or MCU, Disney, Marvel is doing like a combination of the two, because that power scream. Because I did some looking up on Enchantress, and I guess like Enchantress was created like where Loki tricked her into thinking like she was like was actually born on Asgard, and that helped her get her powers and everything. So and then I think there's also another storyline where she like works with like a King Loki, the King Loki character I talked about. So with her how her powers were working, they were similar to Loki's, but they're a lot more powerful than he has shown so far. And outside of him having the staff, and also just how she her hair being blonde, and Enchantress her hair is blonde as well. But also I said just how her reaction to being called Loki, like that just lets me believe that
kind of tipped you off. Yeah, there's something else going on there.
Something else going on, like where she like either like she's working with another Loki, and she was betrayed by another Loki, and so just being even though she's dressed like him, has the horns like him, like with smaller horns, like that tripped me up that it's not just gonna be Lady Loki. I think it's either Enchantress or a combination, some weird combination of the two.
Yeah, absolutely. Tank, I still learned my lesson from last week, so I didn't ask you that question just to ask you that question. I was ready for you today, pal. So in this case here, I can confirm it is Enchantress unofficially, simply because some leak information came out shortly after that episode aired yesterday. So they didn't announce who that was during the show. However, my spies out there, who I can confirm as well, because I have resources as well, Clark. But my spies out there actually uncovered a different version of the Disney credits that played after for other countries there. And in the credits, they actually credited the actress who played that person at the end of this episode under their name, her human name, which I forget now, something with an S. But Savai, thank you. Yes, which is actually the Enchantress. So we did not get Lady Loki yet, or I don't know if we will. Maybe that might have been a cover to cover Enchantress. But yes, I can confirm officially that it is in fact Enchantress instead, Tank. So you are correct. I led you there, so that way I can drop that bomb of news right there. So great job on that there, Tank. So I want to move it back on along here, because the ending for me was very confusing, because I felt like there was some really unique takes on time travel and how you can go in time during a catastrophic moment where it's already set in stone, it is going to happen, and how you can kind of hide from the TVA unintentionally on their side, not thinking of that because everything is going to happen anyways, right? So I thought that was a clever use of time. I'll be honest, I'm so tired of alien movies. I'm so tired of time travel, which is why Tomorrow War is up in the air. I may watch it, but I may not watch it when it premieres. I'm just so over that crap because I think it's been done to death. But I love how the way Loki did his little detective work on that there, and kind of plotted how he would do it, since he is technically looking for himself as far as he knows. But how clever was it that they actually took that part of what they do with time travel and put this villain in those areas there so they can get around that whole time? I thought that was very clever. So that being said, I'm asking you, Spike, for a reason why I'm setting you up with this information here. Is that being said, One thing that's confused me for the longest time after watching Endgame is what Captain America did. Captain America returned everything back, but he stayed in time with Peggy Carter, and that is technically a split from the normal timeline that how things are supposed to happen there. So I know they made a comment about the Avengers in the first show where like, hey, well, that was supposed to happen. I don't buy that garbage there. The reason why I'm bringing this to you here, Spike, is because there has been speculation on the internet from the first episode that we have actually may have seen one of our first cameos and we didn't see it. It was in plain sight. When Loki was escaping, there was a scene where someone was coming out of one of those teleportation beams there. And there's rumors on the internet that one of those people that were behind Loki was actually none other than Miss Peggy Carter, aka Mrs. Captain America. So it hasn't been confirmed. It looks aesthetically like it could be her, but since that's been going on here, I came back to you because I asked you a very specific question last week. Like, who do you think is going to cameo in this show here? So setting you up with that info here, do you still think you don't know who else will cameo? Do you have any like fresh ideas after watching this episode, or who do you think might be coming up in the show? Because the director has gone on record and said that some of these cameos that we will see are going to be batshit crazy. His words. So, Spike, to you, do you have any fresh thoughts on who do you think may cameo on this show now?
I mean, I'm lost with it. I would love to see Cap, but I saw what you were talking about with Peggy. I saw that on the net, and it kind of blew me for a minute because I was like, of course, kind of like, how did I miss that? But I was involved in everything else here. It's really hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. It's so many different people, and with this time travel, where they're going, it could be at any point in time with different people that we're talking about that you would see or who they may deal with and what their main point would be introducing them, other than just somebody walking by. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're pulling this cameo, what's their main reason, the point of you bringing them into this in these points in time as they move around and try to figure out who this Loki character or Enchantress is. So for that, it boggles my mind, seriously. Like, it could literally be anybody. I have no clue who they would bring in or why that would, let's say, be one of those particular people. It's got me rattled. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's okay. That's okay.
Because I was looking at it, before, and like you said, I just like the way that they've been manipulating time. The Cap thing does sound like a load, kind of like it was supposed to happen. I mean, I guess it's just a way to avoid that whole situation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm sorry I don't have any more of that.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Like I said, it's just got me baffled as I sit here and think about it even more, like who it could possibly be and what they would be doing,
Yeah, I mean, I think with that, not to cut you off there, Spike, but I think where this going, I think there's a possibility here. And again, I have no confirmations here, but I think there's a possibility now where the information that we're slowly starting to get here, I think it's going to answer some of those questions that were left over from Endgame. That's why I kind of brought that up there, because that whole Captain America scenario does leave the door open for him to potentially come back, along with Peggy Carter's character as well too. My theories and thoughts, thinking and seeing that rumor information and seeing that picture, I have a feeling it could be Peggy Carter, but again, it could just be somebody from the TVA who dresses and looks like her. I mean, they all kind of have that older aesthetic.
Yeah, that weird look. Yeah, I got you.
I think Captain America and Peggy Carter made a deal with the TVA. That's where I was going with that there. I think that's what they were going to do with that one there. So, I mean, there's a possibility. And again, I'm only excited about this only because the director's gone on record as saying, one, Mephisto is not going to be in it, guys. So guys who had theories about Mephisto showing up in WandaVision, he said, no, it's definitely not Mephisto. But he said the people who are going to be cameo on the show is going to blow your mind. So I'm throwing my hat in the ring here. I'm going to say Captain America shows up. That's my thoughts on that one there. Okay.
The real Cap.
The real Cap.
Like actual Chris Evans.
Yes.
Or like somebody with a mask on being Cap.
We are not bringing back hashtag not my Cap. That is not coming back. We will have, my prediction is I think we'll get Cap back. I think
I
we
would
will.
love to see it. I would love to see it. I mean, the way that they're going, with what they're doing, amazing. And remind me when we delve into this when it comes back around to me, because there's something I saw that's been bugging me since that show last night, and I need your guys' take on this. It could be nothing, but it's bugging me.
Okay, good. Well, Clark, I want to leave you last here because interesting part of the end here. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too long there, Clark. Were you catching some Z's there when you put your sunglasses on? Yeah, he's still sleeping.
Yeah.
Can somebody nudge him? Somebody call him, wake him up.
No,
Oh, you're
no,
back.
no.
Okay, good.
Actually, the lighting was starting to make my eyes tear. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, so I just slipped on my old trusty glasses. But no, I mean, listen, I was listening intently. And listen, my theory is I don't believe it'll be Captain America at all. I think it'll be, if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be, Thor, for example. I could see that. And I can see that in a way that it's played to have some closure for Loki. You know what I mean? And, in some way there. So I do definitely see that. As far as the, the Enchantress, is it called an Enchantress?
No, Enchantress, yeah.
An
Enchantress.
Right.
Enchantress.
Enchantress. I'm not familiar with the character, but I feel as though maybe that might be a redirect. That's just my thoughts there. But I mean, either way, it has us guessing. We certainly don't know, where it's going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely interested to see that. I don't think it was Peggy though. By the way, I seen the clip in there. I'm not certain I agree with that completely. Sometimes the most obvious things are not the ones.
Yeah, good. Well, we'll find out there. So, Clark, I have your question ready for you here. So, real quick here, at the very end of the episode, Loki decided to follow Enchantress through that portal there. So, curious to get your thoughts there on that. I mean, why do you think he did that there? I mean, it seems like he was okay working to TVA, but I think his fight with Enchantress kind of startled him a little bit. Maybe felt like he got one-upped by her, seeing as how he claims he is the best Loki of them all, and seeing her, he was curious there. So, what do you think? What do you think? Why Loki jumped through that portal at the end and left the TVA behind?
Listen, I think at the end we got to remember we're still dealing with Loki. I think that what he did happens to be a way for him to try and unravel and figure out this whole, time, what I can't even think of the words, but I really feel like it's his way of doing that. I think he's going to inadvertently help these guys out. I don't think he's 100% on board at this point to help them out completely, because after all, he is still self-serving Loki. However, I do believe that eventually the arc may change where he actually wants to help. So that I just think it was self-serving. I think he's testing the system for problems.
Okay, fair point there. All right, guys. So we kind of wrapped up kind of our impressions of the episodes. We had a couple questions in the panel here. So I guess last thing to do here, as far as for Loki episode 2, let's review it, guys. So rating system is still out of 5 stars here. So we will start with Tank again. Tank, what do you rate episode 2 of Loki? 1 out of 5 stars, please.
Really enjoyed it. Like I said, it started slow, but about 10-15 minutes, it picked up. I give it a 4 stars. I think there's only season 2 and it got this crazy already. I can't imagine what's going to happen the rest of the season. And I have a theory. I don't know if it's going to pan out, but I think they're going to slightly, because Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be in the next Ant-Man movie. I think they're going to do like a Thanos type of thing, and not have the actual actor in it, but like show like maybe the back of him, or just
like the tease of him. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to do a tease of him. So I think that is going to show up, because the one chick, the judge, I think her name is Renslayer. In the comic books, she is like Kang's like love interest.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Okay, well, good. So we went up from a 3.5. I kept my notes. I got it written down. I watched the show last week. Confirmed there. So Tank went up a 0.5 star from his previous score here. I think he's playing it safe, because he doesn't want to hear from Clark at the end of this here. Okay, fair enough. I respect that. Spike, for yourself, sir, what is your score for episode 2 of Loki?
4.5.
4.5. Whoa. Okay, we're trending up today. Let us know why.
They did like I said earlier, they did an amazing job with little teasers, dialogue, banter, back and forth, the chemistry on screen, the storyline's great, and cliffhangers. Like we're sitting here talking about it now. Why did Loki go into that portal with her? What is he going? Is he really fighting for the TVA, or is he, taking a look back and saying, you know what, it's all about me? I think the TVA issue is just trust. He doesn't believe, in my opinion, that he'll help them and they will spare his life. He knows they've been watching him, they've been tracking him all this time, and he's afraid they're going to kill him when it's over with. So until they earn his trust, he's still going to be doing little things for himself. And I think that he saw how she manipulates time travel. He saw how she gets around and similar powers, even though she's stronger. It's too many unanswered questions for him. Of course, he's going to follow her because he already knows what to expect with these guys. And they have no clue what's going on. So, it just left a lot there for me, a lot of excitement in there. And so that's why I gave it a 4.5. I think that, like I said, it did great. And I feel like they're going to keep climbing with it. It's not a perfect episode, but it was damn close.
No, that's good, man. Hey, that's good. It's trending in the right direction for you. As long as you're liking the show, that's all that matters. Clark, sir, I remember what you scored because it was exactly what I scored last time. Does it still hold up, or you feel like you're going to mark this one a little bit lower than last week?
Well, a couple of things. One, let me just say, shout out to the room. I see you, Aaron. I'm glad you brought up. She would like to see Coulson make an appearance. She wants to see anyone from S.H.I.E.L.D. make a cameo. But like one of the things that I did mention to the guys here offline was that I had a theory that Agent Coulson will make an appearance, and I think I just didn't even think to bring that up when I was talking about Thor. But yeah, I still think that that's the core of the arc here of redemption for Loki. That's the one savage thing that he did that was just really messed up. And so my thoughts there. But it was a 5 for me, and I'm gonna explain why. An amazing performance by the two lead actors, Tom Hiddleston as Loki and Owen Wilson as Mobius. I thought that their banter is amazing, but I also I love the character story. I love the character study, and I love that they are really deconstructing what we think we know about Loki. And they have us guessing, and to do that now in the age of social media and everything else, and to do that in a show like that, to really elevate it to the level that they've elevated it. But let's be honest here, this show so far has been the best of the Marvel shows, which is saying a lot because they were both very good. Obviously, Captain America, starting out, it was not Captain America, but the
Falcon.
Falcon, thank you, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier. Obviously it was a great arc, but there was some narrative issues, and there were some episodes where it was really kind of, you know what I mean? Like it didn't really give us that emotional, like, bam, you know what I mean? Like, and I had problems with the finale episode too. I think we talked about it too. So I'm still fully on board with Loki being number 1 in my book.
Okay, good. Okay, so everybody's scores have gone up. Clark's has stayed the same because you can't get better than 5 stars. So for me, I mean, I'm actually going to rate this one 4.25 stars. 4.25 stars here. And it's nothing that there was anything specifically wrong with the episode. I mean, I marked it as a 5 with Clark last week. I just feel like for me, I mean, I enjoy the banter, like everyone has said. I think there's some great character work going on. The cliffhanger ending was okay, but a part of me kind of wished that didn't happen in this episode, maybe possibly in the next episode, because there's only 6 episodes for the show. It's going to be shorter than the other Marvel ones here. So I thought if they used that part for the next episode, which is kind of like the midway finale, if you will, of the series, I think it'd been more impactful. I just feel like he was just becoming allies with the TVA or possibly foes, whatever his game plan was. I just feel like the manipulation could have lasted a little bit longer instead of going directly to the next part of the arc. That was the only gripe I had about the episode. But other than that, I mean, everybody was fantastic. I love the scene where the Enchantress was going from body to body, having that conversation with him in that, futuristic Walmart, I guess we can call it there. I thought that was really good talking there. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't take away from how much I'm excited about the show. I think it was done fantastic. I think it was another solid episode there. And I'm hoping that now that they did decide to do this with Enchantress by the second episode, we get some more answers next week here. So I'm going to go with 4.25 stars for me. Okay, so that's going to be mine there. All right, guys. Well, good. So we've got everybody's here. Is there any other questions in the group chat that anybody wants to cover here? Or is there anybody else that we missed? We can catch up now.
No, I think we're good. I think Erin wanted to know that, she made a statement about Coulson making an appearance or anyone from S.H.I.E.L.D. So that'll be interesting to see if that, comes out. Other than that, I think we've got it covered.
Cool, man. Well, hey, that covers our coverage for Loki episode 2 for this season. Now here at the House of Fandom, Clark, you want to take us home?
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone that joined us today and stood with us to the very end. We did go long in this episode, but we just had so much fun talking about so many different topics. Obviously, fandom news was a big, fun discussion and leading on to our main topic. But again, great episode. So I'm really happy that we were able to share that and that experience with the different takes that we had on the episode of the episode 2 of Loki. One piece of information, Monday, Townie Sports returns back for another episode, and they will be back at 8 p.m. and they have a lot to talk about. Obviously, NBA, NHL. There's a ton of different things that they're going to be talking about on their new day, which is Monday. And so we'll look forward to that. They'll be returning back. And then, of course, we will be returning back for another episode of the House of Fandom next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. as well. But after that, we will be on hiatus, because, we're just going to, everybody's got a lot of summer things going on. So we're going to take a 2-week hiatus. But do know that we will be back with amazing content once we return. But I just want to kind of let everybody know what we've got going on. Other than that, we've got one more thing. Of course, I always love to hand this off to Tank, because I know that it's a very good friend of his. So, Tank, if you want to let everybody know who provided us with some amazing music today.
Yeah, my good friend Joel Torres, aka Steel Frame, as he's been doing over the past couple of weeks, has blessed us with another dope beat.
Absolutely, man. Hey, wherever you're at, I want you all to have a wonderful evening or good morning. You've reached us here at the House of Fandom, so if you haven't already, please subscribe. We would love to have you, as a member of our house, as well as if you like the content, please like it. It does help the algorithm gods of YouTube when you do, show us some love. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, please hit that like button. And of course, if you are new to the House of Fandom, we welcome you to our house, and we look forward to, providing you with some really cool, awesome shows in the future. So, again, gentlemen, have a great evening. I really appreciate it. A great show today. Thank you, Danny, for being a great moderator, and thank you, gentlemen, for being great hosts. You all have a great evening, and would stick around and hear some really cool beats from Steel Frame. Here we go. Good night, everybody.